It has been a turbocharged emotional journey for finalist Shirley-Ann Barnes. She overcame her own health problems to raise more than £115,000 for Macmillan Cancer Support in memory of a friend. As founder and organiser of a high-profile motorbiking event which attracts dozens of female competitors, her charity, Breastway Round, has helped to change lives.
Shirley-Ann is actually an amazing person. She's so loyal and she helps everyone, but this is deep in her heart, this, and she's also herself. She suffers as well from a condition and she's a fighter. You know, she's got fibromyalgia and it doesn't matter how much pain she's in because we've actually had to help her on and off her bike because the pain gets so bad. She keeps going and we're doing another run this year.
Macmillan helped Shirley-Ann's best friend Alison Porter through 2 rounds of treatment for breast cancer. Sadly, Alison died aged 47, just a few weeks after the inaugural event in May 2008. Shirley-Ann is planning a charity ceilidh in October to mark Macmillan's 100th anniversary. She does all this despite suffering from a combination of ME and muscle condition fibromyalgia.
The emotional part of the event is what spurs people on. We've had a lot of fun, we've met fabulous people, but at the end of the day, it's serious. It's for raising money for Macmillan, and when you see those green balloons disappear into the distance to the sound of Somewhere Over the Rainbow, you just know that the people that you love are still with you.
Diagnosed with osteoporosis as a toddler, dancer Claire Cunningham has never let her disability stand in her way. She has gone on to win acclaim for her groundbreaking use of crutches and aerial acrobats aimed at challenging our ideas of dance. Last year she broke new boundaries by touring Europe with her self-choreographed solo dance show. And she is no stranger to picking up awards after receiving a Herald Angel Award at the Edinburgh Festival for her show Evolution.
Home press that she's had overseas. Please welcome Claire Cunningham.
I couldn't have done my show without being supported by the Made in Scotland and the Scottish Arts Council. I would never have considered doing a fringe show without their support. It's been fantastic. Although it's a solo show, I've had a lot of support and yeah, it's been great and I'm loving doing it. It's great. Thank you very much. Cheers.
A music graduate of the University of York, Claire has used crutches since the age of 14 and took up dancing in 2005. She is now in the middle of rehearsals for quirky cabaret show Under the Radar, which will have its US premiere in San Francisco in March. In only 5 years, she has left a lasting impression on those she has worked with.
She's a role model for everybody really in terms of how hard she's worked in order to achieve what she's wanted to achieve, and the fact that she's taken her career in different directions. So that's kind of inspiring and thinking, well, have a go, try it. You know, with hard work you can get where you want to be.
When Anne and Johnny Maxwell's son Muir was diagnosed with severe epilepsy, they found themselves with little help or support. At just 4 months old, he started to suffer from life-threatening seizures. With a lack of support for children and their carers, the couple went on to establish the Muir Maxwell Trust, a paediatric epilepsy charity offering practical support for sufferers and families. From small beginnings in their Edinburgh home, the Trust has emerged to be one of the UK's leading epilepsy charities, all because of Anne's tireless campaigning and fundraising.
I think it's probably because I have a son who has epilepsy. I've been profoundly affected by the whole experience. He's been profoundly damaged by the experience, and had I not had that experience, I probably would have been ignorant of the impact of disability and learning difficulties and epilepsy for families. So that's my driving force, I think. That's my inspiration. Because I live with it, I have to do something about it.
The Muir Maxwell Trust has raised more than £4 million for child sufferers, helping hundreds of families cope with the devastating condition. Anne has never slowed down, and despite having surgery in 2006 for a life-threatening brain tumour, she has continued to help others. The Trust works closely with Glasgow's York Hill Hospital to lead pioneering research into genetic causes of the illness. And they have funded two £80,000 DNA sequencing machines that have so far tested more than 1,200 samples. Anne's story has touched many people, with celebrity patrons hosting events for the Trust every year, despite their heavy work commitments.
In my job, I'm lucky enough to meet a lot of important people in business and politics and the world of celebrity, but no one has the sheer force of personality that Anne Maxwell has got to get things done. You know, she is a fantastic, fantastic woman who really has the best interests of everyone at heart, and particularly children in Britain with childhood epilepsy. And I would say I can't think of a more deserving candidate for the title of Scotswoman of the Year.
Scots actress Eileen McCallum is no stranger to the limelight. She has performed in programmes such as The Steamy, High Road and River City. But now her starring role is raising awareness of an aggressive muscle-wasting disease that has affected her own family. For the past 6 years, Eileen has campaigned on behalf of her grandsons Milo and Daniel, who have Duchenne muscular dystrophy. She has lobbied the government for better care and support for sufferers of the disease, which affects around 250 boys in Scotland. It causes progressive muscle damage, usually leading to wheelchair use around age 10 and eventually heart and lung failure.
Well, I just realised that Sarah was going to need help, you know, and I thought, well, it's the government that's supposed to help you. And so I wrote to our MSPs, or friends of my eldest son, who were in the government, and they said that the Scottish government gets a lump sum for health, but they decide how it's allocated. And so I wrote to them, and they were brilliant. The plan is to simplify things, downsize my flat and be round the corner from Sarah, and it will happen. I just got to keep going for another month before I go back to work, and so that try and fit that in there.
Mum's been brilliant right from the first diagnosis. I can't remember how many years ago now, but she's been there for me emotionally, and definitely in the last few years has been raising awareness, and I'm sure I've got, you know, to access a lot more information than I would have without her, and long may it continue. I hope she's aware of how good she's been.
At the age of 73, Super Gran Eileen shows no signs of slowing down and will start the Edinburgh Half Marathon later this year to raise more funds and awareness for the cause, and her continued devotion for her boys.
When Mum's away at work, she looks after us sometimes and gets us to sleep.
Mm-hmm. And in the morning, sometimes when we're getting ready for school, Nana comes around and helps Mum with that sometimes.
She's the best.
There is no stopping finalist Margaret Miller. At the grand age of 100, she shows no signs of slowing down. It's a testament to Margaret's commitment that 25 years after being a SWATI finalist, she's still volunteering. Margaret from Springboig has clocked up more than 7 decades of community work, earning a British Empire Medal in 1989. And 35 years ago, she was asked by prominent geriatric physician Sir Bernard Isaacs to set up a support group for stroke victims. And to this day, the Lightburn WRVS Harmony Stroke Club continues to meet in Shettleston every week. Margaret's voluntary work began in 1939 when she signed up to help the Women's Voluntary Service, now the WRVS.
Well, our main object was to restore the confidence of the stroke person, because it's a sudden cut-off from life as you knew it. And if you can restore their confidence, it makes them able to join in with others. I think that's the greatest thing I have ever got.
She's already an East End hero, and last week picked up the Seniors Trophy at the Glasgow Community Champion Awards. Fellow volunteer Margaret McIntosh has worked with our nominee for 27 years and is full of admiration for what Margaret has achieved.
She's been such a remarkable worker all of her life. I mean, she's 100 years old and she still runs this club like she was about 60. She's just got a tremendous energy I really wish I had the half of it, to be honest with you. And she's so well liked by all ages. It's not just my age group or older, but a lot younger people look up to her as well. She's so much to be admired for everything that she does.
Scottish aid worker Linda Norgrove had a passion for helping others, and now that passion will live on through a new foundation bearing her name. The 36-year-old, who was kidnapped and killed in Afghanistan last October, was driven to help others in her role as Regional Director of the US Development Alternatives Incorporated charity. Based in Jalalabad, she was working as the only expat with a team of Afghan professionals, supervising a 5-year scheme to improve infrastructure, including water supplies for farmers.
Coordinate, cooperate and communicate, indicating that we're coordinating with multiple stakeholders in the implementation of our programme.
She even taught herself to speak Dari, an Afghan version of Persian, to help her establish proper relationships with her Afghan staff and the local communities she visited and worked in. Linda inherited a love of other countries and a sense of adventure from her parents John and Lorna. From their home in the Isle of Lewis, they would take their 2 young daughters off on trips to experience other cultures in developing countries, including Egypt, Thailand and Malaysia. In every country that Linda visited and lived in, she wanted to get to know and spend time with local people, and each country had a particular impact on her. A lasting legacy of Linda's work will live on through a foundation set up by her parents, in memory of the former UN and World Wildlife Fund employee.
The best memorial that we can think of to her is to continue that work. So we're setting up a charitable foundation called the Linda Norgrove Foundation, the aims of which will be to undertake humanitarian work initially in Afghanistan, aimed at helping women, children and families.